Hello and welcome to Teleislas News, the most relevant and important information of the day.
The departmental government announced through Decree 0150 of May 3, 2021, the new measures that will be enforced as of this date throughout the island territory. Therefore, it should be noted that these measures are taken by national order issued through a communique on April 19th, where it is requested that the departments that have an intensive care unit occupancy between 80 and 86% must establish the measure of ID card schedule, which includes public transportation. Likewise, restrictions on nighttime mobility must be established as well.
Taking into account the considerable increase of the cases of COVID-19 on the island of San Andres, the departmental government announced new measures within these. The ones that stands out the most is the curfew that will start every day at 8 at night and will go until the next day at 5 in the morning. Likewise, the ID card schedule measure will be implemented for food purchase, bank errands, shopping, among other activities. In this way, people whose identification card ends with an odd number will be able to go out on odd days of the calendar, while people whose last digit of the identification card is even will be able to go out on even days of the calendar. In this decree, there are also changes in the schedule for commercial establishment. Neighborhood stores and supermarkets will be able to offer their services from 5 in the morning to 7:30 in the night, while restaurant, bakeries, and commerce in general will also be able to open until 7:30 at night. Regarding the crowd congestion, it is worth mentioning that there will be restriction on pedestrian street and other sectors during the hours from 7 p.m. to 5 in the morning. That is to say that the circulation and consumption of alcoholic beverage in these public spaces will be prohibited. Other measures that will also be implemented in this new decree that is in force as of today are the mandatory use of face masks in all public spaces of the department, as well as the intensification of the PRAS strategy to identify cases of COVID-19 in the island. All the measures of this decree will apply to residents as well as to tourists.
And precisely with regard to the increase in COVID infections, today we have the lowest number of cases reported since the latest spread increase began.
22 new cases were registered in the department according to the daily report of the National Health Institute, adding to 3,771 cases detected in the department. The location, age range, and health condition of these infections are not known. However, according to the last report issued locally by the administration on Saturday, 1st of May, there were 124 active cases to date, and 96 active cases are not officially reported, which gives a total of 220 with occupancy of the ICU at 81%. Teleislas News will keep updating of this information.
And in order to prevent the continued increase in COVID-19 cases on the island and the eventual collapse of the health system, a group of medical doctors requested the national government a mass vaccination for the island.
Due to the increase of COVID-19 infections in the department, a group of doctors of the island will send a letter to the President of the Republic and to the Ministry of Health requesting the massive immunization of all the inhabitants of San Andres, as it was done in the municipality of Old Providence. Richard Palacios, one of the doctors requesting the massive immunization, indicated that this initiative is the best option to protect the community.
Mass vaccination would be the best gift that the national government could give to all the inhabitants of the archipelago department. We are a tourist destination, and that is our main source of employment. But with the arrival of more tourists, we are exposed to the arrival of infected people, since the national government suspended the previous test for the entrance to the island. We need to protect our community. That is something undeniable. The elderly, our people suffering from other diseases, are the most vulnerable. We are an ethnic community that has a special recognition in the Constitution, and that deserves special protection and priority.
Palacio indicated that controlling the spread of the coronavirus depends on each and every citizen of the island. For this reason, people should strengthen self-care measures.
We have to maintain the same protocols that have been disseminated since the beginning of the pandemic: the use of masks, hand washing, maintaining social distancing, using protective elements, and avoiding crowds. It is important to keep this infection at bay, otherwise this will lead the local government to take containment measures and keep people isolated in their homes and curfew. If we manage to control it ourselves, we will avoid the increase of contagion and thus take pressure off the island's health system.
This journalistic house will be attentive to the evolution of this news event and the response of the national government.
And after the employees of Howard Compañía manifested their demands by means of a blockade, and also after the statements by one of the officials of the city of Cartagena, and finally the visit of the SAE last week in the company, the group of workers could get encouraging news and results to their tireless struggle.
El depositario era el señor.
The trustee was Mr. Javier Archibald, who is the one who has been in the interviews. I want to say that everything he had said about him paying bonuses, that is false, because they only paid one fortnight, and that was in December.
On the other hand, the company's treasurer explained what was achieved with the SAE visit last week.
El día viernes.
On Friday, the vice president of the SAE arrived to give us the good news so that we could count on him to move forward with the processes of Howard Isia. This trustee was already leaving the company. The account is already unblocked. We are just waiting for the new trustee to be appointed to make use of it. The money that is in that account will be exclusively for salary payments, and it will be invested to Gonzalo Bache to also start operations.
Finally, one of Howard's officials in the city of Cartagena expressed his opinion.
We've had a struggle and it is about to reach its end. Soon Howard and company will begin operations.
Teleislas News will continue to follow up this case.
And now we continue with all the information from the municipality of Old Providence and Catalina. This past weekend, the governor, the mayor, the director of Coralina, and the executive director of the NGO UNESCO Center for Peace met with the community at the Camp for Dignity to discuss various issues concerning agriculture and fishing in the municipality.
During the governor's visit to the municipality, he met with the community at the Camp for Dignity to discuss the protests, the current situation of the fishermen and farmers, and explore solutions. The governor made available to the fishermen 10,000 million pesos from the resources for social projects of the Rizal community, which were delivered by the SAE.
What better opportunity than this than to allocate 50% of the 20,000 to Old Providence, and that the fishermen and farmers themselves establish their priorities and their projects once the consultation table is held on the meeting with the Rizal Authority, so that these resources are made available to all Providence to be able to at least go out and ensure that what is most important to them, to have food security in terms of agriculture and fishing.
Regarding the issue of the Coast Guard station, the mayor proposed the acquisition of the land as an option. The governor also talked about the role of the ethnic community in this case.
There is an issue about the application of Convention 169 of 1989 and also of the Inter-American Charter of Human Rights, where the decision of the people should be respected, especially where there are settlements, because in the territory, the people should be given the opportunity to decide what they want to invest in, what decisions should be made as long as they are being affected.
One of the leaders of the Fisherman Federation said that the results of the meeting was positive.
Señalamos la importancia de constituir la...
We pointed out the importance of setting up the table for consultation and dialogue. It is the most important agreement of today, so that all the entities and authorities involved in the reconstruction process can articulate from there what concerns the farmers and fishermen, so that concrete goals can be drawn and agreements can be made to fulfill the objectives.
The governor refrained from referring to the subject of the reconstruction in the municipality until he has a detailed report from the different entities in charge of the recovery process.
And today, vaccination against coronavirus in the municipality officially restarted after having been temporarily suspended due to lack of vaccines.
In 4 sites of the island, the vaccination process against COVID was restarted in Old Providence. The process has been temporarily suspended due to the lack of jobs in the country.
That weekend, we received 2,800 doses of vaccines of the Sinovac brand to cover the second dose of vaccination that the municipality had been carrying out. We have 4 vaccination sites to cover the entire population.
The old hospital in San Isabel, the new hospital grounds in Old Town, the softball stadium in Baton Custom House, and the Mountain Basketball Court are the 4 sites where inoculations are carried out.
The idea is
to guarantee that all the inhabitants of the municipality are vaccinated against COVID-19, so we extend an invitation for everyone to come out en masse.
Today, some people are completing their second dose and others are just starting with their first vaccination.
I cover myself with the blood of Jesus, and I say I come and go take it because I'm going to have to take it one of these days. Because we travel to the work, I imagine in further ahead they're going to ask me for it, so I just take it and done.
No, I don't plan to take no more. I think this is the last one.
Okay.
And now I hope, with the help of the good Lord, this be the last.
It is expected that with this second dose, Old Providence will reach herd immunity.
We begin our cultural section with the following announcement. The Cultural Center of the Bank of the Republic will temporarily close its facilities in order to contribute to the containment of the increase of COVID cases in the middle of the pandemic.
This temporary closure is given according to the sanitary measures that have been implemented throughout the country, so the 29 cultural centers in the country will not have activities, including the departmental one. The measure will begin today and will last until May 9.
Due to the current emergency situation in the country, the Bank of the Republic in its cultural area has decided to close its cultural spaces in the 29 spaces that offer public access until May 9th. All our virtual activities are still running normally. All our users still have access to electronic resources and online catalog. However, during this week, we will not have public access to the facilities of the cultural centers.
On-site activities are expected to resume next Monday, May 10th.